to see you all. And tonight we have probably a smaller call because many of us are traveling or it's spring break too. So it just feels like everyone's out and about. And so tonight I'm going to be talking about the profession, I always call the coaching the professional, the coaching program in the professional. And we're going to take a little deeper dive into that. And Megan has volunteered to be our coaching person. So she's going to be the guinea pig for tonight. And that should be fun. We already kind of talked about it, so we have kind of an idea of where we want to go with it. And for those of you who are going to be watching the replay, we are the Vibe Tribe, and we are a community of sisters and friends and light workers and entrepreneurs and vision keepers and rebels and revolutionaries and whatever you want to call it. And we have all come together with our own unique gifts and talents, and we really support each other in this group. And it's amazing how it's blossoming in that way, that it's a place where we look forward to coming to and supporting each other. And Healy is the common thread that has brought us all together, a revolutionary frequency device. And it's all about raising our frequency, raising our vibration, raising our health, increasing our health, our well-being, finding new ways to make money, and creating freedom. So it's such a lovely platform, and we all kind of come together with our own unique ways in using it and share and grow, and it's just a lot of fun. So tonight I made a little list of some of the things that we're going to be talking about, just so you have an idea. We're going to do some shares, and then I'm going to share kind of the promos that are going on and the new financing, and go over the details of that, which is very exciting. And then we're going to go into the coaching part. I actually created I'm going to let Lisa in, a PowerPoint for the coaching, just because I'm such a visual person and there's so much in the coaching program. Hello, Lisa. And so I'm going to go over that, and then we're going to put Megan in and kind of use her as a way to use the coaching program and see how that works. And I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see it. And then we're going to go into the 88-day accountability that we have afterwards for those of us who are doing the 88 days to quantum leap. And that's at the end, starting around 9. So you can pop off if you're not interested in listening to that part. So I just wanted to start with, I guess, some wins and shares. And I just wanted to start by really recognizing you guys last week, Anna and Britt and Tracy, for leading such an incredible call. I'm so proud of you guys. And you guys are like such pros. You just nailed it. And I know everyone really enjoyed watching you. And I always learn from everyone. So I really enjoyed watching it myself. And you guys are just so smooth, and we're just, so thankful. And this is a community thing. It's not just Ashley and I, it's everyone. And the more confident we get, the more we start to share. And it's really great. And I'm just so thrilled also to see you guys all sharing Healy, and in the Telegram group, especially. That's where we post a lot of everyday stuff and inspirations, and just to see the testimonials coming in, and the fact that you guys are actually going out and feeling more comfortable and just saying, hey, let me hook you up to Healy. That's really what it's about. Whether you want to do it as a business or not, it's just kind of helping other people and getting past that, I don't know enough, or I'm afraid to share this because I don't know, I might screw it up, or I might fumble my words or whatever. It's just sharing it. And you guys are doing that. And it's really incredible. And it's just so much fun to do this together. It's so cool. And I guess my win for there was a social media challenge that we did, like a 10-day social media challenge. And I did it because Megan decided she was going to do it. And I was thinking, I don't want to do that. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't like being on video, and but since you guys were doing it, I thought I have to do it, and I kind of surprised myself because there was times when I would stress about I'd lie in bed the night before and worry about what I was going to say the next day. And then I was just like, oh, just forget it. Just say whatever comes to you that day, just stop getting in your head, go into your heart. And it was really freeing. It was really freeing. And I think the most fun was when I shared my story. That was when I seemed to get the most response. And yeah, that felt so real, and that really came from my heart, 100%. So that was a big win for me. And just watching you guys also just sharing your stuff in your creative ways was just so much fun watching, and still is, because you guys are still doing it so in other ways. So anyway, who else would like to share a win or a testimonial or anything? Megan? Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead since I love that I was part of the inspiration for you to do that. You really came across so incredibly relaxed, calm, and confident. Like, I love hearing that that's not how it was for you to really do it, make the commitment, and follow through. I think I did 5 days in a row, and then I didn't for 4. So my win is that I've done 2 more videos. I'm not calling them days anymore. It was a 10-day challenge. Now it's just a 10 video completion for me, and they'll get done when they get done. But following through with that, picking up, not giving up. Once I did, life got full, and all of a sudden I just kind of forgot, and you kind of get out of that habit. So picking it back up and carrying on is definitely my win. And I do find that I have that similar, like, what am I going to talk about? And then as soon as you just start, there's so much that I think we can all attest to with how Healy impacts every day. Now, if I want to share all of that on social media, that's kind of the new, do I want to go that personal? Maybe in the future, but right now it's I'm still testing things out, and some of the changes that are being experienced are so profound, but I don't think the other parties that I feel like they're also changing, because I'm changing, myself first. I don't think they would appreciate being blasted on social media. So there's a little bit of respect in that,
Yeah.
but it's a good one.
Yeah, I loved watching you. I thought you were so natural. Really,
I just babble.
That's
Thank
good.
you.
It's good. No, it was good babble. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anna.
So I'll share, and I'll just real quick introduce my sister, Emma. So Hello. She is the newest part of Healy and in my family, which I'm so excited for. So she's just got hooked up. She's learning how to use the device, and we're kind of in the beginning stages. So we played around with her husband this morning in running. He's got really bad allergies, and they kind of seem to kick up in the morning. So we hooked him up, whether he liked it or not, just to try to make a difference. That's the biggest thing. But so for me, my share is when we first got down here, so we're on vacation right now. And when we first got down here, within like the first 24 hours, my stomach was in knots. And I was like, maybe it was the dinner that I ate. And I ran gastrointestinal program, and like instantly, and I ran it while I was driving because I was in pain, but I put it on my stomach, and I instantly, within like the first minute or 2 of running that program, the cramping pains that I was having subsided completely. And that I've done before, so I kind of knew what to expect. But it was a big relief for me because it was not comfortable what I was feeling. And it turns out, like, I guess there was a bit of a bug going around because my daughter the next night was feeling the same way, and she ended up getting a fever with that. And I ran gastrointestinal because she was complaining of stomach cramps and like her stomach being upset. And she fell asleep while I ran the program on her, because things kind of subsided. And then tried to run a little bit of like bacteria. I was looking up like what programs in Healy Advisor to run. So I'm really glad that I brought it on vacation with us because we basically used it every day. And I'm so excited because I did the 10-day challenge. I don't know if you guys.
Woo! Are you running the program?
Yeah, I'm running the Quantum Leap program for both of us. We're and
Cool.
so that's what I'm running now. And I actually ran that earlier. And I was running it with the microcurrents. Right now I have the coil in between the two of us.
Nice.
But earlier I ran it with the microcurrents, and I don't know if you guys had, like, for those that did the 10-day challenge, have you looked at what's in this Quantum Leap program?
Oh, yeah. That's nuts.
It's insane. If you get a chance to look at the flyer that is like everything, all the frequencies that and the description of what it is that you're receiving when you run it, I was like, what? That's like, that was so worth it. That was so worth it because it's pretty amazing, the stuff that's in it.
I missed, Julie says I missed all of that.
Oh, the
Explain it.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can explain it, Kristen, because
Yeah, well, it was a 10-day social media challenge to talk about Healy and like this for the people that are doing the 88 days to Quantum Leap. And then if you did 10 consecutive days, you would get a free custom program that's normally $40. So it's still available. Like you would just have to pay $40. It was a time waiver guy created it, and I don't even know what it's called. It was like quantum something or other.
it says 1QL, so I'm assuming that's Quantum Leap, and then the date.
Okay.
That's all I have, like, that's running currently, and I
Okay.
just have it in the expert program. Like,
It's actually in the quantum empires group, I think, what's in it. But we can also post it in our group too, if you guys want to know what's in it. I haven't even run it yet. I haven't even checked my Healy to see if it's in there. But you can get customized programs from time waiver people, and this one just has so many cool things in it. So that's so neat. Wow.
yeah,
Super
so
cool.
that's my share.
Yay. Anyone else? I was going to share one other thing, just a real quick one other thing. I have a skeptic in my family, and it's my daughter. And the only time she wants to run the program is when she's not feeling well. So she drove us to Boston, and it was raining on the way, and then it turned into snow. And my husband and I, we were like, she loves to drive. My husband and I were in the back of the car, and we're just like tight working away. And it was so nice to have that 6 hours of time where I could just finally catch up on things and go through all the Telegram group stuff. And so she was in her head, and she was starting to kind of feel panicky, but she didn't tell us. And she kept like trying to talk to us, and we were like, yeah, well, okay, all right, whatever. And we were just doing our thing. And so she said, I was lost with my thoughts, Mom. And I started really, she had a huge cup of coffee before she left, and that just triggered, and her whole life's changing right now. She doesn't know, she needs a new job. She's moving, like all these unknowns. So she just ended up having almost like a panic attack. And had I known it was that bad, I wouldn't have allowed her to drive. But so then she finally started talking about it. And I said, oh my goodness, do you want us to drive? And she's like, no, she's really stubborn. And I said, do you want me to hook you up to Healy? And she's like, yeah. So I hooked her up and I did the balanced nerves. And then that, it made a difference, you know, and she was like, well, I think it was just because I told you guys about it, but she definitely felt a lot better, but she never wants to really admit. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So, yeah, I've got kids too. Yeah. All right. So why don't all right, let me just go over a couple of the things, the promotions and things that are going on. And we've got the financing, which is so incredible now, finally. So we have options of financing. So you can pay in 4 interest-free biweekly payments. You split your purchase into 4 payments so that you can spread the cost of your purchase over time. And what you do is you enter your credit card or debit card of your choice, except for Amex, or connect your bank account for automatic payments every 2 weeks, no interest or added fees when you pay on time. So it's every 2 weeks. It's not really that spread out, but if you want to spread your money out without any interest, you can do that over 4 payments, which is pretty darn amazing. And then they have monthly financing as low as 0% APR, depending on your credit score. And it's easy to apply. It comes out of your checking account. It's a simple 2-step process. It's a 2-step application, and they provide an instant decision. So once you've been approved, you'll receive reminders and you can manage your payments directly to, it's called Klarna app. And then, so the amount available for financing is for pay in 4, any order over 200 up to 1,700. So that would include what now the professional is, the cost of the professional, which is the actual residence, which is pretty incredible. And then starting next month, for monthly financing, or actually this month too, but monthly financing on any order over 500 up to $10,000. So, and I think that happens all at the very end once you put your Healy in, and there's an option to do financing at the very end. So that's kind of how that works. And there's information everywhere about that. I think I've posted it on in our groups and whatnot. So that's exciting. And we also have, I made a couple of notes here. We still have the promo going on. So this really is such a great month for people to get a professional at the price of a residence. And so that is incredible. And all the other ones, if you pay for the higher price one that you want, you end up paying for the lower edition. So it's such a great deal right now till the end of April. And no, what are we at? We're in March now. Gosh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Wait, what are we in? Are we in March still? Yeah, we're in March, right? And then we have Healy World Meets the World 2022. And I don't know if you guys have signed up for that yet or not, but that's March 25th at 7 p.m. And I think that is Berlin time. So I think it would be 1 our time, Eastern Standard Time. And it's where there's going to be 3 hours of highlights. They're going to have the founders there and co-founders, and they're going to have guest speakers, and they're going to talk about the new products. So that's very exciting. I can't wait to hear what the new products are going to be, and great trainings. And it costs $20. So they do have a cost for that one, but I think it's well worth it. And I'm sure they'll have a recording. And then they have a new program called Rebalance that Marcus Smike just talked about recently. And it's in the Power of 3, which is a program that originally had, let's see, conflict, defense support, and friendly flora. And it's all really about stress release. And he created this Rebalance because we are experiencing so much stress globally. I kind of talked about it like our immune system. There's different kinds of immune systems. There's your physical immune system. There's a social immune system. There's all sorts of different immune systems, and we are being bombarded on every level with stress. And so he came up with this, and they did a, they call it a random controlled trial study, and they found tremendous results for people who, with their stress levels being reduced. And this, they basically say they created it for rebalancing a person's bioenergetic field of or after experiencing stressful events like a breakup of a partnership, loss of a loved one, or even a vaccination, to increase decrease the stress or decrease the stress that comes from feeling burdened by concern. And what they noticed in the test was that they noticed even the percentage of people who were vaccinated versus those that weren't had higher results of dealing with less stress. So it was just kind of really interesting how they're able to really help with, I don't know when he says stress, if it's stress on the body, stress on the mind, like stress everywhere. So that was pretty interesting. And there's something that he emailed everyone about that. So that's pretty cool. And that's going to be updated for free. So no one has to pay for that if you have the power of 3. So, all right. So I'm going to get into sharing my screen. I'm going to do this little PowerPoint thing that I came up with. I just wanted to see. There's so much to talk about with this, and I am so not an expert on the coaching, but I've watched several videos and I've played with it myself. So this is just the stuff that I've gotten from Healy, and so it's just my messy slide. So there's probably lots of things I don't know here. And if you guys want to pipe in, or if, like, as I'm going through, if you want to ask questions or whatever, please feel free to do so. And hopefully I'll be able to answer them. And if I can't, then, we'll figure it out. But so there's 2 different coaching programs. There's the personal coach, and it includes the first 6: self-worth, emotional balance, personal relationships, family relationships, social relationships, and spirituality. And then the success coach includes all 6 of those, but then it goes more into what has to do with career and finances, and goals and potentials. And I got all this information from Michael Dons, who is a time waiver practitioner, and I think he's created a lot of these programs. He does a lot of the trainings. He's the German guy with a really sexy voice. So I love listening to his voice, and he must be a therapist by the way he talks. He really does seem to know how to talk about it. So, and feel free to like screenshot some of these, or do, and I'll have the replay. I can even put some screenshots. Like, I actually printed them all out for me just because, I don't know, there's a lot of information here. So this is just in my words. I can even read it with. The coaching program taps into the subtle body, subconscious, emotional, mental, spiritual, psyche, and karmic bodies, and gives you info as to where you're out of alignment with your focus and intention. And then really the cool thing about it is the awareness of the results alone can be life-changing. In addition, you can vibrate yourself back into harmony using these balancing frequencies in the coaching program. I've just been playing around with it the past couple of days, and it's been mind-boggling, really. It's actually, it had me in tears this morning. So creating your focus is really the first thing that we have to be really mindful of. We want to be very clear with the focus in terms of the I am saying things in a positive affirmation. And you can type in like one sentence, or it can be up to 4 sentences, as much as you want to get to the point. But just remember that the system doesn't read what you're typing in. So when you type that in, it's not like Healy is reading that and understanding what you're reading. It reads your mental focus or your intention. Just like when we do the scans in the resonance, we're really tapping into what it is that you want, and that's when the Healy the quantum sensor is reaching into the information field to tap into you and your intention. So the quantum effect takes place once you hit start analysis. So you really want to stay focused with your intent while you're scanning it. So that's really important. Here. And I just took this from what he had. He went over like three different areas, and I thought this was kind of helpful just to understand. So this is only tapping into 3 different things: personal relationships. So that has to do with like new impulses and ideas, mental realignment, more loving relationship, finding a partner, and taking responsibility into your own hands and work on your own issues in your own relationship. And then here are some examples of some of the focuses that he's used. I have integrated my emotional injuries from old partnerships. I'm at peace with myself. I give thanks for my ideal partner in my life. I am lovable. I am loved. I am loved. I recognize my personal needs and challenges while being able to establish a deeper relationship with my partner. And I fully accept my partner with all of his or her strengths and weaknesses. I actually put this last one in for my relationship with my husband, and it showed me where all my blocks are. And actually some of the blocks, it's just amazing. Like you think, oh, I've worked through that. And there was a lot of self-love things that I still needed to work on for myself. And if I'm not fully loving me, then I'm looking at it from kind of a warped lens, and then I won't be able to fully love him. So that was really mind-blowing, actually. And then some ideas of self-worth. That's around general problems with your self-worth, asserting oneself and setting boundaries, not possessing the necessary basic confidence when facing personal challenges, strengthening self-acceptance and self-love, and new inspiration to realize the value of your life. And then focus ideas: I deserve to be wealthy and happy. I am financially successful and a good person. I stand by myself and my abilities and skillfully and apply them in my sales process. So I think he was kind of using that more towards career and self-worth, but you can take the career part of the money part out of it and just work on self-worth. And then the last one that I wanted to give you an example of is the career, which is about your occupation or vocation, finding your ideal occupation, realizing and living your real nature, your real self, search for a professional alternative, or find and solve mental blocks that hinder your career. And then focus ideas: I use my strengths and abilities in my work. I am living my true calling. I identify and achieve my goals and desires with ease and clarity. My vocation provides me deep satisfaction and financial independence. It pleases those around me and brings them valuable benefits. I love that one. I think that one's really empowering, especially when someone's going a new route and the spouse might get a little like, I don't know where you're going with this. And what if you're spending too much time, or what if you're going down the wrong path, or what if you're doing something really weird? It's just like, I kind of like how it balances out that relationship issue with people that are close to you. I can certainly relate to that as well. So when we when reading the results of the focus or your intention, we analyze them based on 3 elements: the relevance, the intensity, and the potency. And this is similar to what's in the aura scan when they have all the numbers and percentages and things next to it. It really gives us a whole lot more information. And when you understand it a little bit more, then you know what to look for and what to kind of leave out. So I'm going to go deeper into each one of these next. So this is one, well, I'll give you, I'll give you an example. So this is kind of like the, this is the relevancy, the intensity, and the potency right here. So this may be like, what does all that mean? But I'll just tell you, I had put in, I'm confident with my skills as a leader. And what ended up coming out was I recognize the unconscious causes that lead me to eat foods that reduce my energy levels. And I have, like, since Boston, I was eating a lot of, I don't know, more just things that I don't normally eat. And then sometimes when you get off vacation, you're still kind of in that mode. And so last night I did the same thing, and I went to bed like, oh, why did I do that? And so I live consciously and in clarity. I refrain from sabotaging myself energetically through unhealthy foods. I eat what nourishes me and am steadfast against consumer drugs. And it's just like, wow, it, you know, it was so on point with where I was. I couldn't believe it. And anyway, so I just wanted to, I was really just bringing this up to show you this piece of it, but I just thought I would show you, tell you a little bit more about how that came up for me. So the relevancy. So this is the first number that comes up, and this is how important the issue is in relationship to your current focus. So if it's really high, like 92, then it's pretty high in relevancy. It's the positive relevance in the conscious realms are 0 to 100% plus 100. And the negative is in the subconscious. So 0 to negative 100%. And so what I don't know 100%, I've not seen any negative potent relevancies in the coaching. So, but you do see them in the aura. So that comes up. So there are some kind of parallel things, but I don't think that you see negative relevancies in the coaching program. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. And feel free to pipe in anytime, Anna, with anything or anyone that knows any more than I do. Because like I said, I'm just going with what I know. Yeah, Megan.
Because I didn't have the right phone upgrade to work the the coaching, what we're talking about. Julie, my girlfriend, set me up as a client, and she ran it, and she did like a scan on me, and it did pull up some of the negative.
Okay.
So I didn't understand what.
Okay, well, good. Good.
But because she did like a complete on everything, so that did come up. So
okay.
it is in that program as
It
well.
is. Thank you. Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's helpful to know. Okay, so it does come up. So it's more in the subconscious realm rather than the conscious realm. And so what they recommend is when you're starting, consider the highest relevancies. If it goes down, if it drops down to like, I don't know, 50s, 40s, or 60s and down, they're kind of giving you some information, but they're not as accurate. So that's kind of the way that he described it. So focus more on the higher relevancies as the things to focus on. And then we have intensity. So that's in here, and it goes from 1 to 10. And intensity means two things. How intensely the information should be transmitted into the information field. And it also means how much a person is ready to be confronted about the topic. So intensity goes from 1 to 10, and it relates to how much this issue is affecting you. So plus 10 would mean it's a very powerful influence that needs a lot of correction. And so the broadcast, you can broadcast it longer, meaning you can send frequencies longer. So that might be something that would be more of a long-term kind of thing, perhaps, and you do it maybe for a month long versus lesser time. That's just one idea that I have. And one can broadcast, and the number 1 can be broadcast for shorter periods of time. So you're going to see several things that are going to come up higher and lower. And then you just get to decide at the end, like, how often do I want to send frequencies to myself? So that's what it means by broadcasting is. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. So you don't have to know all this stuff, but That's just what that means. And a number one means the person will be very unwilling, may be very unwilling to talk about the issue. So if you see that, you might want to just be a little more careful in talking to them about it. So they say from like a number 1 to 5 up in here means just be a little more sensitive to how you approach that subject. The person may be more confrontational and not ready to hear what you have to say. And then if there's a 10, it means that you can be very frank with the person. You can, numbers like 6 through 10, you can be more direct. So does that make sense to you guys? Okay. I know it's a lot of information, but it'll make more sense as we go along. And then we get to the potency. And in the coaching program, D and C are more important than LM, because D means the physical or the cause, and it's kind of in the material world. So it's about cause and effect. So if you think about D is cause and C is the effect. And that's what happens from the cause. So C means more in the mental field, or the circumstances that happen because of the cause. And LM is more spiritual. And you can look at the LMs, but you kind of want to focus more on the cause and effect. That's kind of where you're going with it. So that helps you kind of dissect a lot of the stuff. It's like, I don't think I'm going to really focus as much on that. But it does give you more information. The LM stuff will give you more information too. So you'll see when we do one. Okay, and so this is a really good thing I just heard him say. He said, if only C, which is the effect, and LM come up in your readings, it means that you've not found the cause. So you might want to redo your focus and get more specific and scan yourself again, because you want to kind of come up with what's the cause as well. Does that make sense? I know it's a lot of stuff. And I think it'll make sense as we go along a little bit further. And then the number after the potency, this is like dosage that relates to homeopathic potency and the dosage for the treatment of the issue. So there's a dilution that ranges from 1 to 100,000. And 1 means it's in your field and it's very clear and the person knows about it. The lower the number, the more materialized it is. So if this was a D1 and it basically said, I have learned to love myself. It probably means that you really don't love yourself, like you know it. And you've got to, that's the main issue that you're dealing with, is that you don't love yourself. And that it's super clear. It's like, that's it. But if it's a D 100,000, it's kind of means that it's pretty diluted. It's less manifested, and the person may have no idea about the cause. It's like it's kind of out there. It's like, I don't really understand that. So when you get a much higher dilution, like 100,000, you could go deeper and do another scan based on the reading of that scan with a clear intention to kind of figure out how to get to a deeper understanding that is in a less high dilution. So that's just another caveat to all of this. And then durations to send frequencies, the transmissions. So if something is really like kind of acute, it's coming up and really quickly and you really need to address it. And they say in the conscious field, where you're really aware of it, you will do it. You can vibrate yourself 6 to 8 times at 37. We're saying 37 minutes. I think that's seconds. Is that right? Yeah. I don't think it's not 37 minutes. It's 37 seconds for frequent short stimulation until the result is achieved. And then in the subconscious, so that might be one of those like the 100,000 ones, those kinds of things. You can do 2 to 3 times a day they're saying minutes, but it's 42 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes and 49 seconds. each day. So less frequent, longer stimulation. And a duration about a month. It's kind of the same as what we talk about with our Healy, with when we're sending frequencies to ourselves. Sometimes we'll send the aura scans that way as well. We already did this one. Oh, you know what? It sometimes goes. Okay. And then they'll have a desired state. And sometimes, so here it just says desired state, and that's really just means where you want to go. So I develop and harmonize the following personality characteristic to solve. Or I recognize the unconscious causes that lead me to eat foods that reduce my energy levels. I have to laugh at that one. And then sometimes there will be a desired state description, which they say is just more information. So sometimes they can give you more information, but sometimes it's just really simple. So it's not every time you're not always going to get a desired state description. And he also said that they took all this information from Time Waver, and there's so much information. So I think they only use like 400 words in the desired state descriptions to really narrow it down. So you really have to read between the lines. It's a really big thing. You have to remember to read between the lines. And then when you start to look at this, you read between the lines and you always come back to what your intent was. And when you look at this in relation to that, that's when you can start to really see, okay, that's what that means. So you have to kind of dig a little bit, but it's fun. Once you start figuring it out, it's really interesting. And I'm almost at the end here. There's several different ways to look at a list and figure out how to sort. I mean, we're going to show you this. There's a sorting button. So you can sort by relevancy, you can sort by potency, you can sort by all sorts of different ways to have like the first thing show up is what's the highest relevance and all the highest relevance, and then it goes down, or what's the potency. So he gave an example. If there are many high, and all right, so look at the relevancy. And if many are high and some are lower, the lower ones may just be more of a hint, not as precise. So just remembering that. And if the relevancies are all high, you wouldn't want to sort that way because you know all the relevancies are high. So they're all going to be important. So you might decide, maybe I won't sort by relevancies since they're all high. Let me sort by potency. And potency is the thing where it's the D and the C and the LM. And what we really want to focus on are the Ds and the Cs, the cause and effect. So you can sort by ascending order. And I'm going to show you this because the D potencies will show what the cause is of the problem. If there is one D potency, it means it's the main cause. If there's only one, then that's the one. Lower D potencies are more manifested and more the main cause, like a D10. Like if it's close to D1, that's like so manifested. It's the cause. When you go up to D1000 or D100,000, like I was saying before, it's kind of hard to know. Yeah, that's the cause, but it's hard to know exactly what that means. They haven't quite figured it out yet. Whereas D1's like, yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, I've been struggling with that. And you can sort by the potency. This kind of the same thing. So cause and effect. If the C, now here's another one. If the C is more materialized, and that means like if the C has a low number, like a C3 or C1, then the consequence will be clearer than if you look at the cause, like that's a D100,000. So if sometimes the causes are just like, this is what's happening. I'm sorry, the effect. It's like this effect is happening to you, but you don't quite know what the cause is because it's so out there and it's so diluted. So it's just kind of a way of starting to think, how do I look at this? And use it the way that they've created it. It's really kind of interesting. So, and I have a bunch of notes. So I actually just printed all these out, and you can have them with you when you're doing your coaching things. And then this was a list of potencies. Most of you, I think, have this. This is the one for the Aura program. I'm not sure how much this overlaps the coaching, because we're not in the Aura. They're talking about wrong acting, wrong thinking, wrong lifestyle, missing trust, a life theme, and then whether it's karmic, parental, grandparents, and ancestors. So all these numbers still come up when we are working with the coaching program. I think they just kind of use different languaging around it. And the D is still physical, the C is the mental, emotional, and the LM is spiritual. And I'm finding a lot of these are coming up for me. So I haven't heard them say this is coming because of your parents in the coaching, but I feel like that still applies in the coaching. Like some of our patterns are because our parents had that. So I'm sure that's probably the same, but I just haven't heard them say it. So I just don't know 100%. And I think that's it for this. So do you guys have any questions? I know that was a lot. Do you have any questions on that? Or do you want to get into Megan's thing? Julie?
No, it looks fascinating. I really want to try it. I want to come over and try yours.
Yeah, I would love to.
Maybe this weekend or something before the end of the month. So if I want to get it, I can get in on the deal.
Yes. Yeah. And I think it's going to be so helpful to do it with other people, because in the beginning I was just using it and I was doing it for myself, and I kind of needed someone else to throw it off on, like
Yeah.
this means. And ultimately it does come back to what you think it means, but it's so helpful when you can talk to someone else about it and they can give you their feedback. And now that I kind of understand a little bit more, he also says that sometimes certain things will totally make sense to you and sometimes they won't at all. But then later you'll realize, oh, that's what that meant. And you might wait till the next, like he talks about it as like when you're coaching someone and then he'll say, well, let's meet again on the next coaching and we'll talk about it. So anyway, can I share this PowerPoint to the group? Yes, I am definitely going to share this. Yeah. Hopefully it's as accurate as it should be, but I kind of pretty much took notes, and so good. Yay. All right. So any other questions while we get prepared to look Megan up? Let me share my screen. Cool. I'm sharing. Share screen. Okay, here we go. You guys see that? My phone? Okay. All right. So my Healy should be on. So you go into the coaching program. And I put Megan in already. And it wants to connect. All right. So hopefully this is, hold on, I'm just going to, I actually saved this so it would be easier. There we go. Okay. So what Megan and I talked about is I successfully understand and confidently share Healy with others. Does that sound right, Megan? Okay. And then we can continue with database selection. And we talked about, let me just disconnect my phone because it's stuck here. So we talked about clicking on career because this is something that she's going to be sharing. And when you click here, it brings up 3 different categories. So resolving stress factors, profession and work, and there's 146 in there, self-assertion and self-confidence, 38, and talents. And so we talked about it, and I feel like these all are relevant to what her her goal is as far as, you know, feeling successful in sharing. So we can, and if you click on this here, it shows you all the different ones that they have. There's like tons of them, but we're not going to get into all that. But you can click on, they recommend that when there's a lot in one category, you can choose more than one. So you could choose up to 3. So I'm going to choose 2 here. And we have self-assertion and self-confidence. I'm just going to keep that at 1. And then I'll just keep it at 1 for talents as well. And then I'm going to click the back button. And then the next one I think that's going to be really good is the self-worth one. I think that's really, really good when it comes to, click here, to feeling like you feel confident in sharing. And so basics of self-esteem, there's 60. Parameters for happiness is 33 and self-acceptance is 119. So Megan, what are you feeling? You feel like all those look good?
Yeah, all that looks really good. I'm ready to get my mind blown.
Okay. All right.
Like,
So,
that's a lot.
I know. And the other thing here too, guys, is less is more. If you, I mean, there's so many, and I love that. Jolie, can I share the story, how you did the coaching for Megan and sent her a whole bunch of things? Or do you
Oh,
want to?
yeah. No, that's a great example, because what I did was just send her everything that it printed, because I didn't realize that, you know, I just thought it's my first time. I'm going to go ahead and send her everything she might want.
Okay.
And it sent 30 pages to her. Yeah. And then because I was new, I had no information to be like, hey, this is what this means. I was just like, here you go, it's 30 pages. So yeah.
I looked at that the first night and I was like, I can't even. We'll look at that tomorrow. Like, I'm a total mess. That's all I felt like.
Yeah, so it's like she went through all of these and kind of chose all of them. It can be really overwhelming.
Yeah.
So the less is more. And then we thought goals would be a good one, because this is kind of about, you know, how she sets goals and feeling comfortable moving forward with this. And, you know, you're doing the 88 days. And so goal alignment and intent, resolving motivational disorders. There's 205 there. And then resolving stress factors, personality and character. I'm thinking maybe 2 here. I'll just go 1 for the rest of them, so we don't, you know, spend all night doing this. So there we go. We've got the 3, and then you click the check button. Yeah, and my Healy turned off again. It's sleeping.
That happens.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point, what we want to do is have Megan really focus on, I successfully understand and confidently share Healy with others. And I want you to feel it. Okay. Like just feel it in your body. when I click start analysis, that's when it's reading your field. Okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead. Okay. All righty. So I'm gonna first scroll to see kind of what the relevancies are. So we've got 94, 94, 94, 93, 93, 92, 89, 88. So it's actually going in that order. Okay, so it goes all the way down to 68. So 68 is not as relevant. So if you click here, this is where you can filter as well. So before I go there, I want to also then look at these numbers. Remember, we talked about we kind of want to see the C's and the D's. And we've got a C there, C there, C there, C, oh, C. We don't have a D, Megan. Okay, all right, that's all right.
I'm not surprised.
We're going to work with this. So let's go with, I'm going to click on the potency, and it will at least bring up the consequences.
Mhm.
Let me just pull my little sheet here, my little cheat sheet. Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of the effect. Parameters for happiness. I recognize the unconscious causes that lead me to believe that I would be happier if I only had more power of riches. I realize that my true happiness is free and infinitely valuable. I find my true happiness within myself, free from both conditions and situations in the world around me. And that is an 8. So that's something that you can be a little more frank with someone.
Mhm.
Does that resonate with you in any way?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's to keep it in an easy format, a lot of times not having your voice. So to me, that's more power. The more I could speak, let alone riches. I think there's a common thought that if I had more riches, I wouldn't even have to deal with certain things. But mainly the more power with being able to speak and have my voice. It's to me, that's been connected with my happiness.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
That's great. And then the next one, profession and work. I recognize, harmonize, and transform what is causing me stress in my job and work, unclear ideas and vision.
Mhm.
Does that
I always feel like I'm torn between
Mhm.
two lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. And that's
And though that says a 3, I can talk about that.
right. Yeah.
Be frank.
Okay. Gotcha. And then we have a C2, self-acceptance. I accept my actions and actively deal with them. I understand the interaction of cause and effect in my actions.
Sometimes my behaviors are out of alignment with attaining goals.
Mm-hmm.
Having that progress, what it takes to move in a direction. It's like you got to do your 10 consecutive days to get the little quantum leap thing, and I didn't. I'm still doing my videos, but that was out of alignment. So it's I can accept myself for my struggles.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing, like that I love most about what you said about that, which I think resonates even higher than, I fell out of alignment, was, I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. I life got in the way and whatever, but I'm just gonna continue on. And that's even greater. Like that was my favorite video of you when you were just telling everyone I was supposed to do this 10 days in a row, like this supposed to or whatever, but
Right.
cares, like, and you loved yourself, and you continue to move forward with it. And I think it helps when we're all in a group setting and stuff. But when it does come to these things where we have these commitments to ourselves that no one knows about, sometimes I feel like it's harder for me to stick to those commitments.
Right.
I'm just speaking for myself, but
Hmm.
I hear you. And then, okay, so another 86%, that was 92%, then 86%, it's an 8. I accept my emotional needs and consciously deal with them. Self-acceptance. Accept my-
Yeah, that one, that one's more like I know my emotional needs, but I don't ask for help in dealing with them.
Mhm. And this is in relation to your, I successfully understand and confidently share healing with others.
Right.
So like thinking back to that
Mhm.
intent, and how does that, I accept my emotional needs and consciously deal with them. Yeah, how does that play into that? Like those are the ways to think about it too.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then we have C18. So it's a little more watered down. Resolving stress factors, personality, and character. I recognize and harmonize and transform what causes stress to my personality and character, worries about existence.
I think that's in alignment with, or lines up nicely with, a lot of times I know what to do, but I don't do it emotionally, physically, spiritually.
Yeah.
I'm getting better. I definitely am getting better, but it's still, it's like a daily practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we get into some of these LMs that I was talking about, and I'll just read like, one or two of those, and then like just the talents. I develop and harmonize the following personal characteristic to report. So sometimes those talents, I have had a hard time understanding them, like to report. So maybe it's to, like I had one that says to move, and I'm like, to move my physical body, to physically move, to move in my business. So in relation to report, to successfully understanding and confidently sharing healing with others. So I'm not, what do you think that means?
What comes forward for me in this situation, it feels more like the kind of like we were talking earlier, like the corporate side of things, like having things in order, organized, reports. Might not be the literal word report, but just having that, treat it like a business, not just a little toy. That kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, having some kind of like reports that are organized so that you know how to get to them, and that you know how to flow in that way. Yeah, so I think I'm going to stop there just because we have,
There's so much.
I know there's so much, and there's just like, well, yeah, there's a few others.
Right.
But we can talk about that later. But see, this is the thing that they talk about, like not really going super deep into lots of them. And also, we didn't find the cause. So
Right.
we didn't
It's almost
find,
like you would need to go back and scan it again.
scan it again, maybe slightly changing the wording here. Successfully understand and confidently share healing with others. Like now that you've kind of seen some of the things that are coming up for you, there might be a clearer way as to how to word something to really get deeper into how you feel about that. So that's kind of what I'm thinking would be the good thing. And then, so the actions, once again, you can send the PDF, you can send the PDF to someone by clicking these buttons, and then you can just email it to them, or you can vibrate, and it always defaults to 1:20. So you could do 2 minutes and 49 seconds, and you could send that to yourself 3 times a day, for up to a month, as long as it takes for you to notice changes and shifts. So does anyone,
that was super cool. Thank
did you like that? I mean, does it, I'm just curious if it seems a little clearer now, like in the beginning, doing PowerPoint and all that, it's hard to wrap your head around all that, but when you actually see it,
Mhm.
does that help you guys in understanding a little bit more? And
Definitely for me,
Yeah.
because I've just been like, oh, what does this program do? What does this
Yeah.
one do? Which
yeah,
I don't think is wrong. It's just this has a much more that focus and intent is it just makes it that much more specific to work on that area um, again until you feel like it's changed,
right.
which makes more sense to me. Though I've been enjoying all my playtime. This is cool.
Yeah, good.
Mhm.
Good, Julie, I'm glad you found that helpful. That's great. And we did go over, but the next call that we're going to do is our 88-day for accountability. And I don't think it's going to be a very long one this time. And I know that Pepper wanted to share. She's got a little share for something special she's doing on Sunday. So we'll just finish with Pepper, and then unless you guys have any questions, like does anyone have any questions before we go to Pepper? Because I know that was a lot. It's probably hard to even know what kind of questions to ask, but doesn't look like it. Also know that the coach program is in the professional, and you can also buy it. I actually bought it when I thought that they weren't even going to offer it as something to be bought. This was before they had the whole coaching like deal going on. So I bought it last year, and I think it was last year. Yeah. So it is available to purchase as well. And I think you can also, no, I think you can I don't think you can get a subscription for it. I'm not sure. I don't know, maybe someone else knows, but that's just what I wanted to mention as well. Okay, Pepper, do you want to share?
Yes, yes. It's good to be here. Anyway, on Sunday from 1 to 4, and that's Pacific time, I'm doing something on Zoom. If anybody has an interest, this is a pilot program. What I'm finding is that overthinking and worry are could be the next really big epidemic. And I've been given very interesting rules and boundaries, if you will, on how to get by some of these things from the fifth dimension. And since we're going to more fifth dimensional energy, higher vibrations, as we all are working on, I've just been given some inside information that I would really like to share with people. So it's kind of like bye-bye overthinking and worry, hello focus, and making better choices. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover exactly the proper way to ask the universe for things, because there's a protocol, and if you're not asking correctly, it's like they don't want to listen. So it really requires us to step up to the plate, to take some action to find out about the fifth dimension, so that we're welcomed into that vibration rather than missing the boat. So better to learn sooner than later is my deal. We're also enhancing the intuition, and I'm going to have a journey to actually feel beyond the senses that we have. We actually have more senses than what we're told, and there is a deeper quality to the senses that we have. So I'm going to be covering that. Let's see. Oh yeah, and I'm going to do some fun things with tarot cards and angel cards. I'm going to show how to get a yes/no answer. I'm going to show also the day and the way, and these are all intuition enhancers, and also it's like you're getting validation for what you're thinking. It's not like, well, you pulled it from the air, you woke up with the idea, but you're not sure, is that really the way to go? And so I'm just giving some validation so that we have far more confidence in how we're living our lives, asking questions, doing relationships, living with ourselves, which, my goodness, it's a real struggle, as we well know. Also, what I had just heard in the last couple of days is that the time that we're going through right now, everyone is being tested with the patterns that they've had since birth. And so, we're waking up to these things and going, my gosh, I thought I handled that. And it went around and around, and it's back again. So I've got a few things that we're not so frustrated and like, oh my God, that was stupid. We don't want to talk to your body that way. And one final thing is that I've learned that we have head, we have heart, and we have body, and we ask all of these to be in alignment. And even maybe the Healy, when it scans, it's picking up this, but it's good to know in your mind's eye, what are we looking at here? Why are things so difficult? Why are they different? Why can't I get ahead? Why am I 3 steps back and only 2 steps forward? We're in that time. So I'm trying to give some people, waking up with miracles and positive thinking. And so it's all squished in 3 hours on Sunday for $59. So I'll put in the chat my email address. If you're interested, please come. I think it'll be very valuable to know how to move forward with our Heelys. So anyway, thank you. And like I say, I'll put it in the chat. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Pepper, that sounds amazing.
It's
Oh,
on Zoom.
okay. And then if we can't make it, we can get the recording.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that just sounds, anything you do is incredible. So yeah, I love it.
Thank you.
Love it,
Thank
love
you,
it, love
thank you.
it.
Okay, I think I've got
And
this.
it's the equinox.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Yes,
So it's
so
a perfect
powerful.
a beginning
Maybe
to actually, it's the beginning of our new year.
Yes,
So
Kristen.
there we go. So
Yes.
you're on your own now. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, thank you. All right, guys. Well, I think unless anyone has any questions, I think that's everything. And we're going to move on to the 88 days. I know I went over, but I don't think this 88-day one is the accountability call is going to be that much.